Hello students, this is Devarjana Raut, lecturer in computer science. In our previous slides, we have already discussed about different components or different parts of the motherboard. We have discussed about the motherboard architecture and its block diagram, how are slots presented on the motherboard, and what are the pins, what are the ports present on the motherboard, and how it works, what are the chips, what are the CMOS, BIOS, everything we have discussed in our previous slides. So in our today's slides, we will be discussing on a very important topic, that is processors. So we are acquainted with single processors, but in our these slides we will be discussing about more than one processors, that is two processors, or we can say it as dual processor or dual core, four processors, that is quad core processor, and so on. So let's start. We already know that Intel dual core is the first CPU that uses or that makes use of two cores in a single dia. It solves the problem of overheating without compromising on the performance of the system. So as there are more than one processor, it obviously increases the working performance of the system, and it gives less pressure on the system too, so that it does not give any adverse effect or any bad effect on the system. So we will be discussing on the topic, that is Core 2 Duo processor. So Core 2 Duo processor is the second version, we can say second version of our dual core processor. So Intel Core 2 Duo processor is also known as Core 2 Duo processor. It is a 64-bit dual core processor. It means it can access about 64 bits of data at a time parallelly. Or we can say it can handle 64 bit of data packets parallelly at one point of time. So we have already discussed that Core 2 Duo processor is the direct successor of Core Duo or dual core processor, we can say. It is the next version, we can say, of dual core processor. In this we get maximum of cache memory. It is a very important feature of Core 2 Dual or Core 2 Duo processor, that we get a very much amount of level 2 of cache memory, that is maximum of 6 MB of cache memory. And the Core 2 Duo processor is easily overclocked up to 4.0 GHz with suitable coolers, so that this is the speed, we can say, that is 4.0 GHz with suitable coolers. Most importantly, the Intel Core 2 Duo is also known as super overclocker, as it gives us a suitable speed of 4.0 GHz, and as it runs so fast, it obviously generates a lot of heat. That is why we have discussed on the motherboard, we have heat sinks near the processors. So this Core 2 Duo processor is also provided with suitable cooler pins. So in comparison to Core Duo, the Core 2 Duo is about 10% faster and consumes a little bit more energy than the dual core processor. So this was our Core 2 Duo processor, which has basically two main points, or we can say three main points, that it works about with 64-bit of data packets at one point of time. Next, it is the best in cache memory, getting the maximum of 6 MB level 2 of cache memory. Next, it is also known as a super overclocker with 4.0 gigahertz of overclocking. As per the speed, it is also provided with suitable coolers, and its working performance is about 10% faster than the dual core processor. So let's again discuss about the advantages of Core 2 Duo. That is, first is it integrates two processors in a single dia or in a single package. It supports hyper-threading technology. Not in all dual core processors. Basically, in the core Intel processors, we get hyper-threading technology. What is hyper-threading? We can say hyper-threading as multiple tasks or multiple processings or applications can be run or performed parallelly at single point of time. So this is our hyper-threading technology. Next is it has capability of 64-bit running of 64-bit instruction at one point of time. It has multitasking and multi-threading capability. It also deals with multitasking ideas, and it consumes basically less energy than other processors too. Its design is well tested and reliable. So these were the advantages of Core 2 Duo. Next, we will move to our next processor, that is quad-core processor. So quad-core processor is a processor which has basically 4 independent units of core. So this 4 cores or this 4 processors can read, execute instructions, can run programs and do all the tasks or all the processings parallelly but independently. So quad-core processor is a chip with 4 independent units or 4 independent cores that read and execute central processing unit instructions, such as moving any data, such as adding or doing any arithmetic operations, and so on. The quad-core CPU has 4 processing cores in a single chip. It is similar to basically the dual-core processor CPU, but 4 separate processors rather than 2 processors. It has 4 separate processors which can process instruction parallelly at the same point of time. The quad-core CPUs have become more popular in recent years as the clock speed of the processor has been very much improved. By including multiple cores in a single CPU, chip manufacturers can obviously generate higher performance, great performance, without increasing the CPU speed or without increasing the clock speed. So we can do the performance, we can get a higher performance out of the processors, but we don't need to speed up the processor, we don't need to boost the clock speed of the processor, but without any speed generation we can generate higher performance. So this is the very basic advantage of quad-core processor. Despite that, it allows the software to split the processing load between the multiple processors instead of only using one processor at a time. So these are the advantages of the quad-core processors, that it provides faster execution of executing instructions. It also provides better graphical performance with low battery power of consumption. It provides higher gaming performance experience. It has a higher capability to run more applications at same point of time without boosting the clock speed. It is also best in multitasking capacity or providing multitasking at one point of time. So these were the advantages of quad-core processor. Next, we will be discussing about some of the different generations of our processors. That is, we can say third generation of processor, fifth generation of processor, and seventh generation of processor. So these are the Intel's current core processors, which we call as Intel Core i3, Intel Core i5, and Intel Core i7. Different processor families have different characteristics, or we can say different generations of processors have different characteristics that basically define, or that basically give us the knowledge about different efficiency level or different performance level of the processors. So it does not mean if it is Core i3 processor or if it is next is Core i5 processor, then it is obviously better than i3, or if it is i7 there are 7 number of processors, or if it is i5 there are 5 number of processors. No, it is not like that. It is simply the determination of the efficiency of the processor by relating their processing powers. So there are some of the factors which decides whose processing power are much better than the other. How i3 is better than i5, or how i7 is better than i3 and i5. So all these are defined some of the factors. So we are next going to decide those factors. So the processing power are basically judged or based on the collection of criteria involving the number of cores, or we can say by involving the speed of the system, by involving the size of the cache memory. So there are some of the factors which affect the processing power, and thus we can differentiate three generations we are discussing, that is Core i3, i5 and i7 respectively. So what are those basically what are those features? We can say the first feature is hyperthreading, that is how are we able to do multiple tasks at one point of time? How efficient is the processor to do multiple tasks at one point of time? So this is the hyperthreading concept. Next is the number of cores, that is how many processors are there in this processor. Next is the clock speed. Next we can say is the turbo boost. Turbo boost, we can say it as that it checks the maximum TDP, that is thermal designed power, that how much power basically it can use or it consumes to perform the work. So these are the factors which really differentiate the processing powers of different generation of processors. So here we can see a table which basically differentiates according to the factors, that how i3 is differentiated from i5 and i7. And in our next slide we will be discussing all those factors, how it differentiates from each other, and we will discuss that what processor we can choose, or which processor is best for what processings, what processor we should choose if we are preferring for gaming purpose, if we are preferring for visual purpose, then what processor we should choose. If we are trying to buy a less price processor or a cheaper processor, then what processor we are going to use. According to all those factors, we will be deciding that as per the requirement of a user, how the processors can be chosen from the factors. So this much for this slide. Next, we will continue from this slide in our next slides. Thank you.